Taylor Dixon, and I have been asked to present my findings on why electing a HSR or Health and Safety representative will be beneficial to Aussie Herbs. Firstly, a HSR or Health and Safety representative is someone who has been elected to act on behalf of the work group in relation to all health and safety matters. As you may be aware, there has been a request put forward by a fellow worker that a HSR be elected. A company is not required to have a HSR unless requested by a fellow worker, which is why Aussie Herbs hasn't previously had the requirement for one. However, as the request has been made, it is now a legal requirement for Aussie Herbs to elect a HSR. Today I'll go over some of the benefits and as well as how to elect a HSR. So what are going to be the benefits of electing a HSR? Well, there are many different benefits that work in both favour of the employees as well as the employer. By electing a HSR, you're giving employees a voice that may not have previously been there. This increases employee involvement and turns around to make employees feel more valued and protected within the workplace. It also allows workers to identify potential safety risks with the HSR, who can then pass that information on to management for action to be taken. These risks may not have been previously identified by management, as they may not have experienced these risks firsthand. For example, lifting of heavy boxes from a pallet jack to the milling machine without assistance. As the management is not currently doing that activity, they may not experience that risk. This information then gives the management the opportunity to strengthen their risk and safety controls. Among the many benefits is a financial aspect. Having a HSR to assist the company it reduces the number of accidents and injuries within the workplace, which also prevents the associated costs related to those injuries, as well as days off work for the employees, which generally decreases the productivity of a business as a whole. As you know, if one person's away, someone else needs to fill in, and it has a flow-on effect, decreasing productivity. Another fantastic benefit is it increases productivity and efficiency in employees. So whilst there are some costs with electing a HSR, the benefits are truly well worth it. Under the Work Health and Safety legislation, health and safety representatives are given certain powers and functions that assist them while they're in their role. As previously mentioned, the main function of a HSR is to represent workers on health and safety matters within the workplace. But they also have the right to exercise other functions and powers as they see fit. These include monitoring measures taken by the employer, investigating any complaints from their work group members, and looking into anything that might be considered a health and safety risk to the workers that they represent. In order to exercise these powers and functions, the HSR can inspect the work areas, make requests to the regulator that they attend the workplace, and they can accompany that inspector. And they can also represent the work group in a health and safety committee should one be formed. There are two extreme powers that a HSR possesses, which are to stop work from being performed if there's immediate risk to health and safety issues, and to issue a provisional improvement notice, also known as a PIN, P-I-N, when they believe the employer has breached a provision of the Work Health and Safety Act. A HSR has the right to exercise powers whenever they see fit, and they have immunity for anything done or omitted in good faith of their course of direction. In order to be a HSR, you must be a member of the work group who elected you and not have been disqualified for performing the HSR role. A HSR can only be disqualified from the role if a court or tribunal decides that you have misused power or disclosed information for proper use. Once a HSR is elected, they hold that position for a period of 3 years, unless the person resigns, stops working within the work group that they represent, or are disqualified as a HSR or removed from the position by a majority decision vote. Now, there are 5 steps involved when it comes to electing a HSR. This graph shows the steps and processes that need to be taken. So the first one is ask for an election. Second is begin negotiations for the work group. Third is to notify the workers of the outcome of the negotiations. 4 is to elect the HSR, and 5 is to notify the work group of the outcome. So I'll go into a little bit more detail. Step 1, ask for an election. Once a worker has requested that a HSR be appointed, as we have now, the business owner is required to do so by law. Any worker may request this. The business owner has 14 days to begin negotiations. Then step 2, begin negotiations for the work groups. A work group is defined as a group of people who work together within the workforce. For example, the sales department is one group and the milling department is a separate work group. A HSR represents the work group to which they belong. So a member of the sales department is the representative for the sales group. The business owner has 14 days from receiving the request to begin negotiations. If the negotiations fail or the business owner does not start negotiating within the required time frame, anyone who is involved can request that Safe Work New South Wales representative become involved. Step 3, as soon as negotiations are complete and an outcome has been reached, the business owner must notify the workers of the outcome. Step 4, the procedure for electing a HSR in each work group can vary depending on the work group and its members. However, the procedure must comply with Part 5 of the Work Health and Safety Act 2011. The business owner or principal is required to provide resources, facilities and any assistance necessary for the elections to be conducted. Each work group member is entitled to 1 vote in the election. And finally, step 5, notify the work group of the outcome. The person who conducted the election must advise the work group members and the business owner of the election results as soon as possible. Now, once a HSR has been elected, a HSR can request training in the legislation to better fulfil their role. The business owner or principal must allow their representative to attend the training within 3 months of this request. The company must pay for all courses and fees and other expenses associated in the HSR during the training, so accommodation, travel, etc. The HSR is also entitled to receive the same pay that they would receive if they were performing their normal duties. And the HSR is also entitled to attend a 1-day refresher course each year for their term in office. Now, there are some obligations that fall on the business owner when it comes to health and safety representative. These include consultation with the HSR, providing the access to the health and safety and hazard information, allowing any HSR to be present during an interview which concerns work health and safety, provide resource, facilities and assistance for the HSR in order for them to complete their duties, permit a HSR to accompany any inspection during the workplace, liaise with the HSR on all health and safety matters, allow the HSR as much time as necessary to perform their powers or functions, pay the HSR the same amount of money they're entitled to when performing the normal duties, and ensure that they receive any requested training. A HSR should not be disadvantaged for taking on this role. So, in conclusion, a HSR or health and safety representative is someone who is elected to act on behalf of the work group in relation to health and safety matters. Some of the benefits of a HSR are fantastic in increasing productivity, reducing number of incidents within the workplace, among many others. And whilst a business owner may seem daunting at first, I believe you'll find a great deal of benefit in the election of a HSR. Now, there are some additional resources which you can get some more information. I've listed them here for you, such as the Work Health and Safety Act 2011, Work Health and Safety Regulations, and the Work Health and Safety Cooperation and Coordination Code of Practice. Also, the Safe Work website and contact number there. These are especially useful tools. But if you have any other queries or anything like that, please feel free to contact me, ask any questions, and I think together we'll make the process of electing a HSR a beneficial and hopefully an easy one. And any questions, please let me know. Thank you.